This week on MotoMan, I conduct an experiment with a 2.5-ton baby buggy and the other green fuel. Renewable energy sources, fuel cell hydrogen, plug-in electric. This is pretty much all the greenie weenies are talking about nowadays. But what about Rudolf Diesel's 1893 invention? It seems like there's only a handful of car manufacturers, mainly German, that are extolling the oil-burning virtues of better fuel economy, significantly improved tailpipe emissions, and torque that pulls like a freight train. I think it's high time that Rudy's work got some props. It just needs a really extreme demonstration to get people's attention. Death Valley, California Republic, USA. Hottest place on record in the lower 48. Certainly qualifies for an extreme, but for it to be a real test, you need to pair it with another extreme. How about the coldest place on record in the lower 48? And to make it really interesting, how about doing it on one tank of diesel fuel? My good friends at Audi tell me this rig will go 600 miles on one tank of fuel. Now the coldest place on record in the lower 48 is 630 miles from this spot. So we got about a 30-mile delta that's going to get a little iffy. So in order to give myself a little bit of an insurance policy, I found a local gas station. Come and see it. Voila! My very own gas station in Death Valley, California. Each gallon of diesel fuel weighs 6.3 pounds. So I'm going to attempt to lift 30 pounds and put it into my vehicle to make sure I get the extra 30 miles over the Audi's range. I'm all fueled up, and my fancy dancy computer is telling me I've got 580 miles of range. So now it's up to my crack hypermiling skills to get me to Utah. Got a little bit of a surprise in here. There are actually two tanks. There's one for the diesel and one for AdBlue, which is the injection that cleans up the emissions in the car. And from what I found out, it's injected so literally almost nothing comes out of the tailpipe. And the best part about the whole thing is you can buy the AdBlue yourself and install it yourself. According to our friends Sergey Brin and Larry Page, Death Valley, California is on record to be the hottest place in the US, 130 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact. But what about the coldest place in the US? That, to be honest, is actually someplace in Alaska. As wonderful as this car is, I don't think it'll make it from California to Alaska on one tank of fuel. If it was the case, everyone would be buying Audis. I did find the coldest place on record in the lower 48, and that's in the great state of Utah, a place called Peters Sinks, Utah. It's almost the Idaho border, and it's on record as 69 degrees below zero. Not exactly a place I'd want to live. Look, a diesel fuel station. Here's an unexpected side effect. I really want to take a break, but I don't need to take a break. Where's the fun in that? You don't get to go to a truck stop and do all the people watching and find jerky from animals you didn't know even existed. Wait a minute, is that a diesel fuel station? So here we are at a truck stop, one that you would see all over the country, and we're trying to break into the fraternity of the diesel. I'm starting out at a bit of a disadvantage with 4 wheels as opposed to 18, or in the truck driver parlance, the 4-wheeler. I want to get their opinion, what they think of my TDI. So here we are with Jack from Virginia. He's part of the diesel fraternity. He came over and wanted to ask a couple of questions about our TDI. Jack, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Did you notice this when you pulled up?
Saw that as soon as you pulled up. I was still sitting in the truck when you pulled up. I know what it is, turbo diesel.
So I got to ask you, you drive a diesel truck across the country. What kind of MPG do you get on your 18-wheeler?
A little over 5 miles to the gallon.
What would you think a vehicle this size would normally get MPG-wise?
Oh, probably low 20s.
Okay, so Jack, the expert at diesel technology, drives about 750 miles a day. Here he is inspecting the inside of the Audi. Could you spend 750 miles a day in this thing?
Probably so, yeah. It feels like it. Does it have heated seats, too?
And cool.
Oh, good Lord.
Heated in the back, too.
Oh, wow. That would be nice.
And check this out. It's got a suede headliner. It's got not 1, not 2, but 3 sunroofs.
Good Lord.
Jack, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us here with our TDI. So let me ask you a question. Would this be welcome in the fraternity of the diesel truck?
Yeah. How far you can go on a full tank of fuel was really impressive. I like that.
Oh my goodness gracious. Another diesel fuel station. So I'm about halfway through my trip here and I'm noticing something really interesting. People mainly buy diesels for fuel economy. In this case, I'm getting between 26 and 27 mpg. Pretty damn good when you consider this is a 5,500 pound vehicle. Let me repeat that. 27 mpg for 5,500 pounds of car. But here's the interesting part. I'm doing it without any loss of performance. Not only can this thing keep up with traffic, I can actually exceed traffic. I can shift gears with a Tiptronic transmission, and it's actually kind of fun to drive. Who would have thunk it with a diesel? So I'm a big classic car guy, but I've never gotten into the whole lowrider culture thing. I can appreciate the work that goes into them, but it's never been my cup of tea. This thing, it's got a bit of a German interpretation of a lowrider culture. But the difference here is, you don't operate some pneumatic device and bounce the vehicle yourself. The vehicle does it for you, and you're not even paying attention when it does. You might be rolling down the road, and all of a sudden it kind of hunkers down by itself, and you don't even know what it's doing. And then, you park the vehicle, you get out, and all of a sudden you hear a tss, and the thing is picking up again. Gotta admit, it's kind of eerie. Would you look at that? A diesel fuel station. So I spent some time getting to know this rig prior to embarking on my little experiment, and I found out an interesting tidbit of information. Diesel fuel is actually cheaper than unleaded in most cases. And in all cases, it's cheaper than premium unleaded. How's that for an example of less is more? There's diesel in them dar hills. It's almost a shame to have all these diesel fuel stations and never get to use them because you have the 600-mile range. Let's get to the more vain part. Does she have the siren song of Audi's very own Lamborghini? Or is she more like a 5-year-old banging on a rusty trombone? I would have to say neither, but you definitely can tell it's a diesel. Wait a minute. Is that a diesel fuel station? So much choice? Okay, I know I'm trying to prove economy here, but I need to get off topic just for a little bit. One word, elegance. Not luxury, elegance. There is a difference. Luxury, leather seats, heated seats. Elegance, real suede headliner. And the stereo, not Bose, not Infinity, not one of those pedestrian brands. Bang & Olufsen. And we're not talking about just fancy speaker grills. We're talking about speakers that pop up out of the dash when you turn the system on. That is elegance. Peter Sink, Utah, on record for 69 degrees below zero. 630 miles from Death Valley, California on one tank of fuel. Not only did I make it here on one tank of diesel fuel, but I beat Audi's estimates and turned 27 mpg along the way, all without any sacrifice in size, comfort, and certainly none in luxury. But what was more important about my little experiment, if I chose to fuel, there were plenty of diesel options along the way. Now, on 630 miles on one mount, I think I'm going to try a different way home. We've all had that person in our lives that tells us we need to get realistic, that we need to learn about life's little trade-offs. Well, that person has obviously never met a Q7 TDI. Not only is this something you should be driving, it's something you want to drive. Yes, this very big baby buggy went a long distance on one tank. But the real lesson here is this: it fits in today's world. You can take this very fancy rig down the street and you can fill it up, drive it without limitations, all the while getting a passing grade on the green test. Simply put, it's a great down payment on the promise of the future. Thanks, Rudy. The Audi's great, but this is a hell of a lot more fun. Get it in there, see if she goes in. You know what? She won't go in. What do you guys do here besides snowmobile?
Sledding.
Sledding?
Oh yeah, kids come out and go sledding.
It's
and
a great place.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a very important question? Is the outhouse heated?
No.
Oh, okay, we're going home. It's a much thicker spout. You know what they say? It ain't the size, it's what you do with it. A penny found with its head up is good luck. You see that? This is gonna be a good drive. Oh Lord, won't you buy me an Audi TDI? Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?